guys, now before we get into the next vlog, I want to pick the winners of the previous vlog of the $200 giveaway. I'm gonna pick it live, I guess you could say. It's not really live, but fucking, I'm gonna show you the process. Yes, fucking Toyota Racing, I'm a fucking racer. Fucking shirtless here, I'm in my goddamn domicile, in the comfort of my own fucking home. So let's get right into it. We go to exportcomments.com, got an account there. I'm lazy, okay? If I export all this shit into Excel and it doesn't sort it out properly, so this company can do it. It's $11, who gives a shit? So I input the video here, okay? Then we're gonna start the export process. Look at that, the file's almost done. Okay, now, export complete, download Excel file. And look at this, it has choose the winner already. So we're gonna choose the winner, which is even nicer. I don't have to go to a random number generator, I hope. 539 total comments. Exported 509. Now, we need to make them, you will keep just one comment for each user. Okay, we need that for sure. Let's open the goddamn thing. It's a lot of work, you guys. Okay, that's kind of dope. So if I click on this guy, Eden Lee, it'll take me directly to his YouTube, which is kind of nice. Okay, good. The more verification, the better. Okay, now, over here, here's the good news. I told you guys I can't count you guys if you make more than one comment. So all the like 7 people that put highs, whatever, maybe they didn't read the rules properly. I appreciate you guys engaging the video more, but it is what it is. This is just the way it is. So this is with all the comments unique to one user, and I appreciate all you guys entering here. This is one of many to come. So I don't think it did a RNG, random number generator, but we have 1 through 488, as you guys can see. So, and here, minimum 1, maximum 488. We're gonna do it 3 times. So let's start. 1, 291, 2, 158, 3. Okay, number 434, you are the winner. So let's go back and take a look at who that lucky person is. 434, watch, it's Ron. XX0XXK. He said, love seeing your build and your crew is always funny as fuck. That's fucking worth $200 right there. So let's click on his YouTube. He's got 1 subscriber. Okay. So XX0XXK. All you got to do is message me on YouTube somehow. Let's get our contact. Let me see what the best form of payment is. Hopefully you're in the US, and congratulations, you have won $200. So make sure you reach out to me and we'll go from there. Congrats, Zero, for winning the $200. Now, enjoy today's video, guys. What's up, guys? Good morning. It's your boy Mark. Welcome back to another episode of the Supra series for Sema. So let's just get right into it. What we're doing now is the cooling. So we're doing the intercooler and the radiator. So let me guys show you what the old radiator that I had and versus the new one from CSF, and what the difference is between both of them and why we decided to go with this one. So first of all, right off the bat, this is a good radiator, but there's a couple problems with it that what we didn't like when it came down to not only just tuning the car, but also cooling the car. So number one, the size difference. So this is a lot smaller than this CSF radiator, number one. Number two, this is a side flow with the cap on the side. This is a top to bottom flow with a cap on the top. Most Japanese engines, from my understanding, like the top to bottom flow, and to be honest, a cap from the top is way easier to work with than a side cap. It was a pain in the ass to open it. It was a pain in the ass to deal with it. And so not only it has more capacity, which obviously is going to help with cooling, but where it's going to be mounted is very significant to how the engine, how it's going to help cool the motor down a lot, from also my understanding as well. What the guys in Enticed over here did, they created this nice little plate right here with these two little prongs down here. It slips right in there to keep the radiator at a nice height, for optimum height right there along the engine level. And it's nice and big, it's a lot bigger. It fits perfectly here. They made these nice little brackets. I like the whole theme with all the brackets that they're going with these die cuts, which is really cool. So that's going to be nice. But yeah, I love it. So shout outs to you, Ravi, for sending me the CSF radiator. I can't wait to see how much more cooling, and the fact that it's bigger, we can probably get bigger fans now, which is also going to help with the cooling. We'll probably get more CFM. The original fans that I had were about 3,600 CFM. I can probably get something that's 4,000 CFM. Although the factory Supra is 3,500 CFM, they run off a clutch. So if I can get it, the higher the better, in my opinion. My goal is to make this car very cold. So that's where the radiator sits, which is cool. I know I said that I kind of wanted to do V-mount, but if we go V-mount with this, then we have to go V-mount with the intercooler. And in my opinion, my personal opinion, I don't want to go V-mount with the intercooler. I want the intercooler to be flush on the bumper. But again, when John comes here, we'll kind of figure out if that's what we're going to do, but I don't think so. Let's go over the intercooler differences. So here are the two intercoolers. Now, they're hard to compare because one of them has end tanks on it and the other one doesn't. But so this intercooler, a way bigger upgrade than my original ARC intercooler. It's a 4-inch thickness core, I believe. Where's the tape measure?
It's about 4.5.
So this is about a 4.5-inch core. This is not a CSF core, but on the CSF website, just for horsepower ratings, if you put this measurement inside the CSF ratings, you're looking at about 800 to 900 horsepower intercooler, which is basically the power that I was originally going for. This core is about 6 inches thick. 6 inches thick. And this is rated for 14 to 1500 wheel horsepower, which is ultimately what I'm going for. I'm going for about 1400. I think that's a really good street number nowadays. I could fuck with any supercar, modded, not modded, anything. So that's kind of what I'm going for, provided I have traction, and we'll get to that tuning aspect of it. But this is going to be the difference. Now, the length is a little bit smaller when it comes to this, but we've already tested it with the front bumper. It fits. It covers up that whole middle section. And on the sides of it, we're gonna do oil coolers and trans coolers. So it's gonna look really, really aggressive, I'd say.
So we were thinking behind the intercooler, making like a little air dam.
Yes.
Kind of push air up.
Absolutely.
Keep it as cold as possible.
Yeah, so that's gonna be awesome too. So we'll have air ducting, which was another a thing that this car just didn't have. The factory Supra bumper and the factory Supra radiators are designed on the side. And there's air ducting obviously on the side to get maximum airflow. These cars, there is no room. If you put the intercooler in the front and the radiator directly behind it, there's nothing here that would provide any type of ducting to get to the actual radiator. And to be honest, my oil cooler was right behind the bumper. There was no air coming in there at all. So we're gonna move a lot of things around and make sure that they're optimal for airflow. But yeah, so that's what we're going with. I really like this little mount thing. If we're not gonna go V-mount on the radiator, maybe we remake this or do something different. Obviously there's no structural integrity in this, but it does look kind of cool. So we'll see what we do with this. But so far, so good. I like it. Another update we did was The rear brakes are on. They're huge. They're very big.
It's kind of hitting along this piece here, kind of like right behind the wheel. You can see it tucked a little into it.
Okay.
And there's maybe like a millimeter of clearance right now.
We'll see, but it does look good on there. I'm not gonna lie. I like when things are filled up. If you know what I mean. By the way, shout outs to APG for sending me the rears. It looks really, really cool. I like it. All right, guys, we're back. We're back here. As you can see, the radiators on. And he hooked me up with the titanium bolt.
Well, it was the ones
Look
we
at
took
that.
off of the, we took off the original mounting point, so we just reused it.
Damn. That's like 6 points right there.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awesome. So
the new shroud is on.
Yeah,
The new shroud. The fans, everything fits perfect. Now, remember before they were super offset?
Yep. These fans that I bought, the other radiator was too small, so the shroud that we made was actually hanging over. And again, every little thing that you do matters.
Yeah, so the radiator used to sit up to here. So this fan, only half of it was on there.
Yeah.
And this would hang off of it. So really, a shroud is supposed to be completely sealed.
Yeah.
Right, so really it wasn't really a shroud, it was more of a holder for the fans, you know.
So this is even another reason why it's gonna run better.
It should help keep it cooler.
Exactly, which is gonna run better. Guys, this is more of an education style kind of seat behind the scenes on how these types of parts get made and how they get built. And that's kind of what this episode is gonna be about. But while we're on the topic of education, John, can you explain the whole fitting system on this water neck area?
Yeah, so typically most radiators, when you buy them, I'm not saying all,
Yeah.
they come with a -16 inlet. So not necessarily a -16, they come with a 1 inch in diameter roughly inlet and outlet.
Correct. Which is this part, the part that goes in and then out.
Right, and then you do have some radiators that have something a little bit bigger depending on the water pump. What happens is if you go too big, you start to lose a little bit of pressure, right? So even when you start doing like water lines to turbo, they tell you don't go too big, right? So you call a turbo company, they'll tell you typically you're gonna see anywhere between 8 psi or something like that, and you start putting too big of a line, you'll lose pressure for the water.
Because more water is going to try to come in and it's going to mess up the pressure that it needs. Is that why? Or
yeah, so pretty much it's kind of like having a water hose, and it flows just the right amount to create just enough pressure for that size hose that it is. And then you go and put this fat hose, now the water is not going to have pressure, it's just kind of dropping off, right?
Sure.
So water pumps, initial water pumps from the motors, they don't produce a whole lot of pressure, you know?
Yeah.
So you start going too big on the lines, you start to lose a little bit of pressure.
So one of the things we had on the old system,
like a -20.
So yeah, so this is the water neck, right?
Yeah, so this initially this is from Radiator, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
These usually already come 1 inch in diameter.
Which is a -16.
It's a -16, yeah. And you guys had -20, so we're just going back to the original size, which would be a -16.
Yeah.
And that's why we went ahead and converted these.
And again, guys, I wanted the -20 because I wanted a bigger hose. I wanted it to look cooler. But and to be honest, it was probably fine. But in reality, from a motorsport perspective, from an engineering perspective, it technically could have, or it may have, created unwanted pressure or not enough pressure for the radiator.
Well, it wasn't really you having a -20 wasn't really changing much, to be honest, because essentially this is still 1 inch in diameter, but on the rest of it, when you guys change it, that on this side it does, on that side it doesn't.
Got it.
So it kind of like would still create pressure because of the 1 inch. And
but
then
still,
you just had that fat radiator inlets, outlets. Also having the wrong radiator cap, that can also cause people's cars to overheat.
Correct.
There was just a couple things that were not made for this specific motor.
And another thing I didn't mention, guys, my car it wasn't overheating, but it was running really hot, sometimes surprisingly hot. And I did have a wrong radiator cap because when we built the radiator in the beginning and we tuned it at Sheepy Race, the radiator cap flew off and it fucking broke. So we just borrowed a radiator cap from a V8, and V8 radiator caps, look, I'm learning all this stuff. Specific radiator caps have specific boiling point pressures where they let out water, let it in. And if it's not the right one fitted for that radiator, you could technically overheat. You could technically run hotter. All these little things, like my exhausts being not big enough, creating heat and backing it up in the turbo, my radiator not having enough flow, not having the right stuff, the intercooler pushing too much air in there that's not designed for that much power. There's a lot of little things that if you just take your time on, you could probably avoid if you do some research. Again, all this stuff was my fault. I decided against a lot of these things because it was time sensitive. I wanted to look cool and I wanted to be super rushed.
And I mean, from my understanding too, is in the beginning you wanted less power too.
Correct, and I also wanted less power.
Sense. Even at our shop, when customers come in and they say, hey man, I want a 400 horsepower build, and we do everything for 400, and then they go to the dyno on their own trying to make 700-800, and it's heat soaking or it's causing other problems, right? And that's because we set it up to what initially was requested.
Yep.
The problem is a lot of times is like people will, it's easy to say, oh, why don't you put something bigger? Okay, well, let's just say we put 1,000 horsepower intercooler on a car trying to make 400. Well,
you're gonna get
then they go to the dyno and they're gonna say, hey man, it's lazy, right? Because it's a lot more volume to fill up. It creates a little bit of a lag. And it's just one of those things where like you want to size everything accordingly, you know. That's pretty much where.
So moral of the story, take your time, understand what your actual goals are, and get parts for that goal. Maybe slightly higher. Don't fucking overshoot it, but I would go slightly higher because you don't want to run all your parts to its maximum levels. But I think that's my advice. One thing that you guys can take from this whole thing is just take your time, don't rush it. Thank God I'm still the only one that's doing this on the street. I don't fucking know how. Maybe I'm fucking stupid. But the good news is we're here to change this stuff and make it better and make it run more efficient. And today we're gonna finish the intercooler. So I'm really excited to see how that's gonna look and kind of where we're at with that. So it's pretty thick, Chris. That's you or what? Nah?
Gotta keep it girthy.
Girth is worth. They're gonna make the end tanks for the intercooler, and I've never seen actual end tanks get made before, so I don't know if you guys have, so it should be a pretty cool process.
So it's actually a pretty basic process, and it's pretty cool. It's something you can actually do at home.
Call me basic.
With minor tools. You know, you got a good nice little saw, you can easily cut yourself out some tanks.
But you guys have the CNC machine.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I'm saying people can still do it at home if they really wanted to.
Sure.
A little bit of skill here and there. This is going to be the new style intercooler. Your old intercooler was the tank, the inlet was at the bottom.
Correct.
Of the tank, and it was slanted down. So what happens is when the air comes in, it tends to favor the bottom.
Correct.
And that's on a lot of intercooler designs, to be honest with you. That's one of the reasons why we like to stay to the center. Yeah. Because when it comes in, it kind of, and then also you don't want to be too close because again, it'll just favor the center. Exactly. So you want to go back. So you want to go back here, have it disperse everything here. Again, the point of this fucker is to cool the fucking engine down. But yeah. So let's get started.
No, I'm not gonna. All right, guys. So intercooler is complete. Radiator is obviously complete. It's mounted. It's on. It's everything's good with the fans, the shroud. It's perfect. I showed you guys with the titanium bolt right there. And the intercooler is basically going to look like that. I mean, it is. That's it right there. But we're trying to plan how we want to place it with the piping and how that's going to go. I'm going to save that for another episode. But this is the final product, CSF. God bless you for the core. This should be good for 1400 wheel. This whole setup is going to be amazing. So yeah, here it is. Guys, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next one. Appreciate you guys. If you guys can, like and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Catch you on the next one. Peace.